Professor Bengio, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview for the SNF Nostos Conference on Humanity and AI. You are considered one of the founding fathers of artificial intelligence, and in 2018, you received the Turing Award, known as the Nobel Prize of Computing, along with Geoffrey Hinton and Yann LeCun. Can you tell us in simple words what artificial intelligence is for those of us who are not familiar with computer science?
Right. Humans have mental abilities which we would like computers to have. So that's basically what artificial intelligence research is trying to achieve. One thing I want to mention is because we're trying to build these kinds of mental abilities in machines, often we take inspiration from human or animal intelligence.
You think a lot about how AI might help humanity. What are some of the most important problems AI can help us address?
What I find really exciting is the lot of work that's happening in developing new kinds of AI applications driven by social needs, for example, in healthcare, in fighting climate change, in education.
You mentioned before healthcare. Can you give us some examples on how AI might help, for instance, in developing new drugs, maybe?
Yes, actually, this is something I've been working on over the last year, motivated by the SARS-CoV-2 pandemic. And indeed, the problem with drug discovery right now is it's very expensive and very slow. It takes something like 10 years to discover a new drug. Having technology that could speed up that discovery process would be, immensely useful for society. One area that I'm focusing on is the search for candidate drugs, which can be automated a lot more, and that's where AI can use the data that is being collected to come up with new directions for potential drugs.
What's holding us back from using AI to its fullest extent to help humanity?
Right now, the expertise and capital to develop useful applications of AI are concentrated in a few places in the world. So we need to do a much better job to democratize that knowledge, to make some of the data sets that are being produced more easily accessible. I mean, in healthcare, it's a big issue. And our economic system is favoring some types of applications, but not necessarily all of those that have great social importance, like we were discussing for drug discovery. Antibiotics are not being explored very much by industry, and there's a huge need for that.
What is the most overhyped aspect of AI today?
Unfortunately, a lot of science fiction is depicting AI in a way that is not really representative. AI is not magic, all right? The current AI systems are very far from human level intelligence. So there is a bit of a tendency to put too much trust or expect too much from AI systems as they are today. I mean, in the future, if we don't self-destruct with the environment, there's no reason to believe that we won't be able to build machines at least as intelligent as humans. But right now, we're very far from that.
We live in a time of huge models like GPT-3 that use deep learning to produce human-like text. These models sometimes have stunning results, but seem nothing like how human beings learn. Are they pushing us in the right or wrong direction?
I think that we need to go back to the drawing board here and build systems that not only are exposed to text as data, but also are exposed to, for example, videos or even interaction with the world, maybe with robots or virtual environments. So they build a model of the world, that they understand how the world works and not just the labels, which are the words that we put on those concepts, but they need to understand those concepts. And things like model-based reinforcement learning is trying to achieve this kind of thing, to try to build models that understand their environment.
You mean systems that we need systems with basic common sense, if I understand
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
How far are we from developing these kind of systems, and how far are we from artificial general intelligence?
I would like to say that I don't like the term artificial general intelligence. Let me explain why. This term, as it was initially defined, and as it may suggest, talks about a completely general form of intelligence. But we have mathematical reasons as well as a lot of empirical evidence to suggest that there is no such thing as a completely general intelligence. Human intelligence is not completely general. And so I prefer to use the term human level intelligence. Okay, so now going back to your question, and then thinking about human level intelligence as when do we reach that? I still don't have the answer, but I don't think there's going to be a year wherein this happens. So the progress is not going to be equal on all of human abilities.
You mean like systems that can understand and that can adopt to change, maybe, because that's the main factor that distinguishes us from machines, right? We can adopt to change.
Machines can also adapt to change, but we do it a lot better. We are able to adapt very quickly to change. And that is one of the exciting research areas currently in machine learning.
Is our society ready to welcome such systems, the human level intelligence as you described it before?
I don't think so. Um, I believe that we don't have the individual and collective wisdom to make sure that very powerful technologies like in AI or biotechnology is used in accordance to our values, is used in a way that's going to benefit humanity in general and not create catastrophic outcomes. If AI is used in ways that most people start to perceive is bad for them, for example, to surveillance or to control people, to manipulate people, for example, through advertising, then people will just reject technology and science, as we are already seeing that kind of thing happening. So it's very important for the progress in general of our societies that we be careful in the way that we manage the deployment of technology.
Professor Bengio, thank you very much for this interview.